In just 7 minutes, experience divine healing. Pray now for your miraculous deliverance. In the quaint village of St. Jude's Hollow, the air hums with faith. Every Sunday, sunlight filters through the stained glass windows of the storied church, where villagers gather to share their hopes and sorrows. Among them is Mary, a devoted mother whose warmth radiates like the holy light above. Her 8-year-old son, Tom, brings joy to everyone he meets with his laughter and bright smile that could light up the darkest night. Yet, a shadow looms over their little world, a devastating diagnosis that leaves hearts shattered. Rare and aggressive, the doctors say sharply, their words dropping like stones into the silenced room. Mary's heart races, a storm brewing inside her. Could this be the end? In those agonizing days that follow, she clings to the promise of prayer. The church becomes her oasis, where candles flicker with hope and whispered prayers dance into the night sky. Let us pray for Tom. The villagers rally around her, believing in the intercession of St. Jude, the patron saint of desperate cases. Each evening service swells with fervent cries, voices trembling under the weight of uncertainty. Hushed miracles flicker in the dim glow of candlelight, where miracles are more than whispers, they are promises. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the days turn into weeks, hope and despair intertwine. Mary lies awake, enveloped in a blanket of doubt. But in her dreams, heavenly figures whisper solace into her soul. He is cradled in the care of the divine, they assure her, each message filling her heart with warmth. She sees Tom as a child of light, unbroken, cherished by angels with wings unfurling. Desperation pushes her into action. She organizes a prayer vigil, a collective heart plea. Villagers gather, each face reflecting flickering candlelight, their breaths merging in silent anticipation. As 5 minutes of sacred prayer begins, the air thickens with a palpable spirit, a whirlwind of hope and anxiety. Kingdoms tremble when prayer touches the core of being. The minutes stretch, the ticking clock echoing their fears. The room vibrates, hearts aching for a sign, a miracle, a sliver of divine gravity, and just when doubt threatens to cloud their belief, a silence washes over the congregation. A stillness that feels alive. Suddenly, Mary's heart bursts as she sees it, a light in her son's eyes, long thought extinguished. Joy and disbelief erupt as the villagers gasp in awe. A miracle unfolds before them, washing over St. Jude's Hollow like dawn after a dark night. With Tom's miraculous recovery spreading, the village rejoices in wonder, but whispers of uncertainty linger. Is this truly divine healing, or merely a fleeting moment? How do we reconcile hope with harsh reality? As celebrations commence, Mary stands at the center of it all, her faith unwavering, yet a question haunts her heart: what happens when life collides with the miracles believed? As Mary stepped outside the church into the warm embrace of the afternoon sun, the air felt alive with promise. The villagers were bustling, their laughter ringing out like a sweet song of gratitude. But beneath the surface of joy, Mary sensed a current of anxiety. Is it truly real? Whispered a soft voice from behind. It was Clara, the bakeress wife, her eyes betraying doubt. What if it was just a moment? What if it comes back? Mary turned, feeling the weight of her own uncertainty. She wanted to reassure Clara, to put firm words of faith on her lips. We have to believe, she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. Our prayers reached the heavens, and God answered. Clara nodded, but her brow remained furrowed. The villagers bustled around them, lost in the music of relief and celebration. Yet for Mary, the return of normalcy felt delicate as spun sugar, ready to break at any moment. That evening, as twilight draped its gentle shadows over St. Jude's Hollow, Mary prepared for bed. She tucked Tom in, brushing back his hair, marveling at his peaceful face. In the stillness, gratitude washed over her, not just for the miraculous recovery, but for the community that had rallied around her. She pondered the prayers, each one a stitch in the beautiful tapestry of faith woven together in their village. But a question loomed large in her heart. What if this is just the beginning? Even the stars outside sparkled with hesitation, twinkling in a way that felt both beautiful and heavy. Reach out to the divine, was it that simple? Would a miracle mean a transformation in the fabric of their realities, or would they have to face despair again? Deep in thought, she knelt by the bed, whispering fervent prayers not just for Tom but for the entire village. "Let us not forget the power of love, the strength in unity," she implored, each word laced with hope and fear, eager to be wrapped in divine warmth. The night rolled on, and Mary drifted into restless slumber. Images of golden light and memories of earnest prayers danced vividly within her dreams. She saw the villagers, hands clasped, their faces glowing as they called on heaven with one voice, their fraying strands of doubt being woven together into an unbreakable bond. When the sun peeked through the window, painting the room in shades of gold, Mary awoke invigorated. But beyond the joy, she felt an urge rising within her, a call to embrace something greater, a divine mission perhaps. As she gathered with Tom and headed for church once more, she noticed the changes brewing in her heart. She felt called to take the miracle beyond mere gratitude. Soon, Mary would stand before the congregation again, but this time, she would challenge their fears and ignite their faith. The villagers gathered, their worries still lingering like shadows. As Mary opened her mouth to speak, a hush fell over them. She could feel the pulse of anticipation in the air, thick and electric. "Let me share how we can build a legacy of faith together," she began, her voice firm yet tender. The room felt charged, divine energy swirling like a gentle breeze, urging the villagers onward. Little did they know, this was merely the prelude to an unfolding larger than any could imagine. What awaited them on this new path would redefine their understanding of miracles and make them question the very nature of faith itself. As the first words slipped from Mary's lips, little did she know that the moment of divine intervention was about to unravel the hidden truths of their hearts. Mary looked out at the faces of her friends, peering into their eyes. Each one held a story, a wound, a prayer waiting to blossom. "We've been touched," she declared, her voice rising with passion. "But touch is not enough. We need to act, to reach out and embrace the divine gift that has been granted to us." A ripple of excitement spread through the crowd. Some nodded, others leaned in closer, drawn by the weight of her words. Clara's worried gaze softened, and she caught Mary's eye, urging her to go on. "Miracles can feel fleeting. Yet, they show us a truth," she continued, her heart now pounding with purpose. "It's a truth of connection, a divine invitation to step forward in faith." She paused, allowing the truth to settle, watching as the villagers processed this call. Elder Samuel, a pillar in the community yet quietly tormented by his own fears, leaned on the back of a wooden pew, his face drawn. Mary felt the heaviness around him and took a breath, her spirit igniting with clarity. "Think about the times we've doubted," she urged, her words echoing with urgency in the hushed hall. "What if we gathered together not just in happiness, but also in a readiness to face our fears? What if we prayed not just for ourselves, but also for our neighbors, our strangers? What if we opened our hearts wide and invited the miracle to change us all?" A murmuring grew among the villagers, soft whispers mingling with cries of hope. It was Clara who spoke first, her voice delicate yet firm. "But what if we're still afraid? What if the pain comes back? Then we pray harder." Mary exclaimed, the warmth of conviction radiating through her. "We lean into each other, we form a chain that no force can break. Let our fears become the very stepping stones to our faith." As her words danced in the sacred air, Mary envisioned a bright future where every tremor of anxiety transformed into a bold act of love. She could almost see hands raised in prayer, open to the world and ready to receive divine blessings. The congregation was shifting, a palpable stirring of spirits igniting around her. The weight of their worry was beginning to lift, replaced by fragile hope. Mary's heart swelled as she turned and caught a glimpse of little Tom, his eyes wide with innocence and trust, a reminder of why this gathering was so vital. "Let us be a living testament to what faith can do," she declared, her hands stretched to the heavens. "Together, we can witness miracles unfold among us, right here in St. Jude's Hollow. Let us transform our village into a story of hope." With these words, Mary felt a wave of divine strength wash over them, as if heaven had opened its arms wide, enveloping the gathering in a comforting embrace. The villagers responded in unison, a chorus of prayers rose up like incense, filling the sacred space with warmth. Yet, as the final amen echoed, uncertainty brushed the edges of their hearts. What would come next? Could they truly sustain this momentum? Would they remember the miracles when darker days approached again? As Mary watched the faces around her, she sensed a shift, a holy invitation to step deeper into the unknown. Now that we've opened our hearts to this divine mission, she said, her voice low and steady. Will you take another step? Will you join me in a journey to seek out our brothers and sisters who are still in pain? Let us take faith beyond these walls. Let us invite others into our tapestry of prayer. The depth of her words hung in the air, thick with possibility. The villagers exchanged glances, silent questions swirling like leaves in the wind. What if there truly was a greater purpose waiting for them? And at that moment, they all felt it, the flickering flame of divine revelation, urging them onward, out into the depths of love, community, and servant hearts. Would they accept God's call? Would they dare to journey into the unknown? As hope shimmered at the threshold, new mysteries awaited just beyond the horizon. Hope hung thick in the air, pulling at their hearts. Mary stood before her friends, eyes glistening, and sensed they were on the brink of something profound. There was a divine energy swirling among them, and it felt as if an unspoken call echoed in the depths of their souls. We can start today, Mary urged, her heart racing, voice steady yet fervent. Let us break the barriers that have held us back. There are families who don't know our love, who don't feel the warmth of our faith. And we each one of us have a role to play. Her words sparked a flicker of determination within the crowd. Clara raised her hand tentatively, her voice shaky but resolute. A few days ago, I heard of a family in need, grieving and lost. They have shut themselves away. They might not welcome us, but they need us. Interrupted young David, his enthusiasm infectious. We can show them we care. We can show them that there is still beauty in the world. Encouragement spread like a flame. Mary felt the flicker grow, enveloping each person with the warmth of purpose. She smiled at the faces lit with possibility, recognizing that a revolution of kindness was stirring. Let us go together, she proposed. As a flock, unified in our mission. We will take the first steps, walking into their lives with open hearts. We can offer prayers, share our stories, and be the light in their dark places. The murmurs of agreement grew louder, voices intertwining like tendrils of a vine reaching toward the sun. Elder Samuel, once hesitant, slowly lifted his head, the weight on his shoulders lightening. What if we are the miracles they have been waiting for? He asked, a hint of wisdom glinting in his eyes. We might just inspire a miracle in them too. Excitement rippled through Mary's spirit, affirming the truth in Elder Samuel's words. Could they really be conduits of healing? The thought sent waves of exhilaration coursing through her. Yes. Yes. She cried, her arms raised once more. We are not merely bearers of faith, we are its ambassadors. Each visit, each gesture, a reminder that love endures beyond all fear. Our hearts can reach those who feel forgotten. As she spoke, a hushed reverence filled St. Jude's hollow, wrapping itself around each villager like a sacred cloak. Names were whispered of families, of individuals who needed hope to stream back into their lives. The realization washed over them: a miracle was no longer something distant, confined to tales of the past. It was tangible, present in their hearts, in their hands. Little Tom, inspired by the spirit flowing through the adults, tugged on Mary's dress. Can I come too? I want to help them, he said, his wide eyes sparkling with determination. She knelt beside him, planting a kiss on his forehead. Absolutely. We are all in this together. The smallest among us can share the biggest love. And with that, the floodgates opened. Laughter mixed with solemn commitment as plans sparked to life. They made a list: addresses, ideas, even who could bring food or supplies. This wasn't just faith in motion, this was community revitalized. Yet, a stillness brushed through Mary once more. As hope blossomed and plans unfolded, she felt the gentle nudging that reminded her of the journey ahead. But do we truly understand the depths of this mission? She asked softly, her voice steady yet inquisitive. Will we be ready when faced with our own shadows? The atmosphere shifted, contemplative yet electric. What challenges would arise? What stories would they hear? How might their own faith be tested as they stepped into the lives of others? Mary looked at her friends, each face unique yet united in purpose. They were on the brink, ready to venture into the unknown. The divine revelation was calling, asking them to embrace both joy and uncertainty, to rise and shine bright against the darkness. As they prepared to leave, an electric anticipation hung in the air. How would their lives change? What would they discover about themselves? One thing was certain: the moment of revelation awaited them, just around the corner. What awaits them on this journey? Would they truly witness a miracle? The sun dipped low in the sky, casting warm golden hues across St. Jude's Hollow as Mary and her friends assembled outside the village hall. The air buzzed with excitement and purpose, yet mixed with an undercurrent of anxiety. Each heart thudded with anticipation. The promise of change loomed large. "Remember our mission," Mary began, her voice rising above the whispers. "We are here to love, to listen, to bring light to those places where shadows linger. Let us carry that love with every step we take." Tom nodded vigorously, clutching the small bag he had packed with care: some bread, a handmade card, a few crayons. It wasn't much, but it was from his heart. Mary smiled down at him. "You are already a miracle, little one," she whispered. With Clara beside him, her thoughtful gaze fixed on the path ahead, they set off toward the first house on their list. As they walked, more villagers joined in, their footsteps echoing the very heartbeat of community. Songs of faith and hope lingered in the air, notes intertwining like a divine symphony. Arriving at the family's home, they were met with silence. The front door stood shut tight. A sense of trepidation washed over the group. David stepped forward, his youthful courage igniting a flame of bravery in others. "I'll knock," he declared. His hand hesitated briefly, the sound of his heart athrum in the quiet. As the door creaked open, a woman appeared, her eyes awash with disbelief. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mary took a breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "We're your neighbors," she said gently. "We've come to see if you're all right. We want to help." For a heartbeat, the woman's expression flickered between suspicion and curiosity. "Help?" she echoed, glancing back into the darkened house. "Yes." Clara stepped forward. "We brought some food and stories. We just wanted to share a little warmth." A glimmer of humanity came alive in the woman's eyes as she opened the door wider. Hesitatingly, she invited them in. The dim light revealed a room heavy with sorrow and silence. As they stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. Mary instantly felt it like a breath of fresh air, was the loving presence of the divine. Conversations began to flow, a gentle exchange of pain and hope. Hearts slowly began to open, revealing the hidden beauty under the layers of grief. Tom laid his little bag on the table and offered his crayon drawings. "This is for you." He grinned, innocently wiping away the tension in the room. Laughter rang out, small but potent, a reminder that joy could grow even in difficult soil. Hours slipped away as stories were shared and burdens lightened. The woman revealed her struggles, aching for connection and understanding. With each confidant word, the darkness seemed to retreat, replaced by the radiant warmth of shared humanity. When the time came to leave, the woman, her eyes glistening, hugged each of them tightly. "Thank you," she said, her voice breaking. "You have no idea what this means to me, to be seen." Walking back through the village, Mary sensed a shift within her, that kind of shift only faith can inspire. They had been the torchbearers of hope, and now they each carried a piece of that woman's heart with them. Yet, as they reached the village square, Mary paused, a feeling of apprehension creeping in. What if tomorrow brings someone with an even heavier burden? Are we ready for that? Whispers followed, rolling through the group like gentle waves crashing on a shore. There was strength in unity, yet doubts began to flicker. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, mirroring their fading light, one question hung thick in the air: what if the real miracle awaited them in courage yet to be discovered? With their hearts open, what would tomorrow truly bring? The night wrapped St. Jude's Hollow in a blanket of stillness, but the hearts of Mary and her friends were restless. Each of them craved a deeper connection, a stronger faith that could carry them through the uncertainties ahead. As the first stars twinkled above, they gathered once more beneath the great oak tree in the village square. Mary felt the warmth of their shared resolve, a flicker of the divine presence glowing amongst them. Let us pray together, she suggested softly, her voice beckoning the group closer. They formed a circle, hands clasped, establishing a bond thicker than flesh and blood. Tom, always eager, squeezed Mary's hand so tightly she couldn't help but smile. "What do we pray for?" he asked innocently, eyes bright with innocence. "That we may have the courage to face whatever comes," Clara replied, her brows knitted in thought. "And that our hearts remain open." There was a murmur of agreement, each of them envisioning the burdens yet to be lifted, prayers echoing softly in the night. They closed their eyes, breathing in the cool evening air, ripe with possibility. As Mary led the prayer, she felt a wave of confidence wash over her. "Lord, guide our steps. Fill us with your love, so we may shine light in the darkest corners," she prayed, her heart swelling with an unexplainable peace. The atmosphere shifted, tangible and electric, as if angels themselves drew near. Thomas' voice chimed in, innocent and pure, "And help everyone we meet feel loved." A tender laugh broke the tension, his faith simple yet profound, echoing through the gathering. After their prayer, there was a moment of silence, filled only with the sound of rustling leaves. It felt like a promise hung in the air. Mary's heart raced with possibility. Perhaps tomorrow would bring a challenge, but they were no longer alone. As the circle broke, David looked at Mary intently. "I think we should prepare for anything. What if we make a bigger basket of hope? More food, more stories." His eagerness ignited a fire in the group. Ideas spun freely, voices blending into a choir of determination. "Yes. Let us gather more supplies." Clara nodded vigorously, fueled by camaraderie. "We can include the whole village, bring everyone together." With each plan set into motion, a heightened sense of community swelled within them. They scattered to share their intentions, canvassing their neighbors, gathering potatoes, canned goods, pencils, notebooks, and more. Love blossomed in every exchange, the good becoming greater than the sum of its parts. Hours later, as they collected by the oak tree once again with their burden of goodwill, a familiar figure approached. Old Man Jasper, once a vibrant storyteller of the village, now walked slowly, the weight of years pressing down on him. His eyes sparkled with recognition at the sight of the children. "What's all this?" he asked, a twinkle in his voice still lingering despite the lines etched upon his face. "We're preparing a surprise for someone who needs love, Mr. Jasper," Tom exclaimed, overflowing with joy. "We want to share everything we've gathered." The old man nodded slowly as he seemed to feel their contagious joy. "Ah, the light you bring, it reminds me of days long vorbii." He paused, his eyes traveling towards the sunset, as though he were searching for something beyond the horizon. "Remember, children, it is not the provisions you offer that will heal the hearts, but the love behind them. Love is the true healer." His wise words settled on Mary like honey, warming her spirit. The children nodded and murmured affirmatively, their hearts alight with realization. Then, with a gentle breeze, the world quieted again as if waiting for the next act in their unfolding story. Yet, as the village fell silent beneath the shimmering stars, Mary wrestled with the weight of Old Man Jasper's message. If love was the healer, could they truly embody such a force? With a heart slightly trembling, she whispered into the stillness, her voice barely a flicker in the cool night air. "What is it that we must learn next to let that love flow freely?" The horizon promised more than stillness as the first hints of dawn began to shimmer like a distant star. Would they be ready when the morning light unveiled their next challenge? As a soft glow began to break over St. Jude's Hollow, Mary felt the warmth of dawn wash over her, both inside and out. The air was crisp, sweet, and filled with the promise of new beginnings. She opened her eyes slowly, the words of Old Man Jasper still echoing in her heart. Love was indeed the path, but how would they tread it? Gathering her thoughts, Mary recalled their hopes from the night before. They had committed to reaching out, to gathering not just food, but stories and dreams. She knew their journey was going to unfold quickly. Today was pregnant with purpose. They needed a plan that kept love at its center. As the sun rose higher, lacing the village in soft, golden light, Mary assembled her friends again beneath the great oak. Each of their faces shone with anticipation. "We need to create more than just baskets," Mary began, her voice steady but spirited. "Let us write notes of encouragement and hope, one for each person we meet." Clara's eyes widened, and a smile broke like dawn across her face. "What if we share our own stories too? The times we felt lost, and how we found our way. Yes. That's it. Tom jumped in, bubbling with excitement. That would show them they're not alone. David, gesturing toward the supplies they had gathered, agreed, and we can decorate the baskets with drawings and words. Let every piece carry love. With renewed vigor, they broke into groups, each fueled by passion. The pen became their tool of testimony, as they wrote letters brimming with honesty. You matter, you were loved, you can rise again. They filled the pages with encouraging phrases, tasting the sweetness of unity in their words. With each note, Mary felt a surge of warmth, a deeper understanding blossoming within her. This wasn't just about sharing, it was building bridges of connection. It was turning whispers of love into a chorus that resonated throughout the village. Moving forward, they encountered neighbors, friends, and others who were both known and unknown to them. Their larger basket held not only food but a new sense of community sparked by genuine connection. Each request for supplies was met with smiles, laughter, and new stories shared. As they walked, hand in hand with their neighbors, Mary caught the eye of a woman sitting alone by the path. Her gaze was burdened, and her frail form appeared to be weighed down by life's trials. Mary's heart leaped with compassion. Let us stop there, she said, and the group turned, gathering around the woman. Hello there, Mary ventured gently, approaching the weary soul. We're spreading joy today. May we share something with you? The woman's eyes flickered with curiosity, a spark of hope amidst her sorrow. Mary offered a basket, filling it with not just food, but an array of heartfelt notes and vibrant drawings. Thank you, the woman said, her voice barely a whisper, but tinged with unexpected gratitude. As their eyes met, Mary felt an electric connection, a pulse of love threading through them. The woman nodded, tears glistening. I needed this. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through, shaking the leaves of the oak. It felt as though the universe itself had not only witnessed their act of kindness but had also celebrated it. A shared moment that transcended words unfolded in the silence enveloping them, where love intermingled with the rustling leaves. Mary turned to her friends, her heart bubbling with joy. This is what it means to share love. It is more than a gift, it's a piece of ourselves. But even as hope soared high, Mary sensed a lingering question. What other trials awaited them just beyond today? The excitement of the moment lingered, yet in that blissful stillness, the deeper journey teased her heart. Would they discover even deeper reservoirs of strength, or would new challenges seek to dampen their spirits? As the sun climbed higher, casting warm light across their path, an unsettling thought danced at the edges of Mary's mind. Could they grasp the true depth of love needed to transform lives? The day's promise glimmered on the horizon. The story was far from over. The next challenge was already stirring beneath the surface. What would they encounter as they stepped more fully into the divine journey ahead? The atmosphere around St. Jude's Hollow shifted as Mary and her friends continued their expedition, bathed in the golden hues of the day. Each person they met became a vivid thread, woven into the fabric of their shared story. Hope was growing like the blossoms of spring, vibrant and undeniable. It was exhilarating, but beneath the surface, Mary felt a stirring within her spirit, a quiet anticipation mingled with doubt. As their journey unfolded, they reached the edge of the village, where the homes began to thin. The sun shone brightly, but shadows lurked in the corners of neglected paths. The laughter that had marked their earlier encounters turned to hushed whispers. The beauty of connection was met with the stark reality of those who remained unseen, those whose burdens were cloaked in silence. Mary looked towards Tom, who seemed lost in thought. What lies ahead? Do we have enough to offer? She asked, echoing her unspoken fears. Even a single word can heal a heavy heart, he replied, his voice soft but firm. Let us keep going. We have love to share. With determined nods, they moved forward, coming upon an empty park strewn with forgotten toys and overgrown grass. A young boy sat on a swing, his eyes cast down. The joy that once filled this place seemed to hover in a distant memory. His tiny frame spoke volumes of struggles he carried alone. Mary approached, her heart swelling with compassion. Hello there, young man. What is your name? His gaze flickered up, revealing bright blue eyes filled with sadness. Eli, he whispered, barely audible. Eli, we're here today to spread love and joy. Would you like to help us? He hesitated, then nodded slightly, unsure but intrigued. Gathering around him, Mary gently handed him a brightly colored note. "You can write something to someone who might need to hear it." Eli took the pen in his small fingers, and Mary watched as he concentrated, his tongue poking out in determination. I don't know what to say," he murmured, frustration creeping into his voice. "Just speak from your heart," Clara chimed in, kneeling beside him. With care, Eli wrote, "You are not alone." As he finished, a light seemed to spark within him. He handed the note to Mary, and it felt like precious treasure. "Can I put it in one of the baskets?" "Absolutely," she replied, her spirit glowing with pride. As they gathered to decorate their baskets, they invited Eli to join them, and he chose vibrant colors, painting life back into a dull canvas. Laughter rippled through the air, and soon, the park, once filled with shadows, danced with newfound joy. Yet, a soft breeze carried with it a whisper of something deeper, a reminder of Mary's earlier doubts. What if love isn't enough? She thought, a flicker of worry still in her heart. Would their efforts actually make a difference? In that moment, a gentle voice broke through her musings. "Love is the greatest force," said David, with eyes shining. "It transforms not only others but also ourselves." His words, a bomb echoing through the air, captivated Mary. Suddenly, the wind stopped, and a profound stillness enveloped them, as if time held its breath. Eli's laughter mingled with the leaves, creating music that rippled through their souls. They stood together in that divine pause, a community unified not just in action but in spirit. Mary felt the warmth of the moment and realized though the journey was far from over, each step, each note, and every piece of art they created was a testament to the healing power of love. Yet, as the sun began to dip in the sky, a sense of urgency crept over her. Tomorrow would bring new faces and deeper struggles. What more could they unveil? What other hearts awaited their light? With hearts full, they prepared to leave the park, but Mary sensed it, the stirring of greater things yet to come. What profound depths would they explore next, and how would their faith be tested as they ventured further into the heart of St. Jude's Hollow? The next day dawned with a soft brilliance, as if the heavens themselves were eager to unveil the mysteries of St. Jude's Hollow. Mary gathered with her friends, each heart tinged with a blend of hope and the unfamiliar weight of anticipation. Today felt different, almost electric with possibility. As they made their way through the village, they entered a narrow alleyway filled with echoes of distant laughter, but closer to them, the shadows stretched long like secrets waiting to be told. It was there they encountered an elderly woman, her frail hands clutching a worn basket as she settled against a crumbling wall. "Mrs. Willow," the townsfolk whispered, once a vibrant spirit, now a soul dimmed by loneliness. "Good morning, Mrs. Willow," Mary called out, her voice breaking the stillness. The woman looked up, and her eyes, glinting like stars amid sorrow, softened. "Good morning, children," she replied, though her voice carried the weight of years. "Today, we're sharing love through letters and art," Clara chimed in, stepping forward with a basket of colorful supplies. "Would you like to join us?" A flicker of recognition danced across Mrs. Willow's face. "Oh, my dear, I haven't felt the joy of creating in far too long," she murmured, hesitating as the memories rushed back. "Join us, please," Mary urged, sensing the yearning beneath the elder's words. "You have wisdom to share. You can change someone's world with just a few words, just like Eli did." Encouraged, Mrs. Willow reached for a bundle of vibrant paper. The connection began like a gentle stream, flowing slowly at first, but soon transformed into a cascade of creativity. The children clustered around her, laughter punctuating their shared artistry. As they decorated their letters, Mary noticed something remarkable. With every stroke of color, the old woman began to shed the layers of her sadness. The way she engaged with the children, her laughter mingling with theirs, it was as if she was rediscovering a long-lost piece of herself. "Love is a rebirth, isn't it?" Tom whispered to Mary, his gaze locked on the scene unfolding before them. "It channels something deep and pure." Mary smiled in agreement. It was in those moments she grasped the full weight of what they were doing. Their small actions intertwined in ways not even they could fully understand. Just then, a gust of wind swept through the alley. The children paused, a sudden chill pinching the warmth of the day. The vibrant colors of their crafts shimmered, casting quicksilver reflections on their faces. In that unexpected silence, Mary felt the air shift, and energy pulsating through the ground beneath them, wrapping around their hearts like a promise. "What's happening?" Clara questioned, eyes wide. Mary could only shake her head in bewilderment. "I don't know, but it feels holy." And then, it happened. A radiance emerged from Mrs. Willow, her face lighting up as if touched by the very hands of grace. She reached for her letter, raising it toward the heavens, as though offering something exquisite, a piece of herself, a glimmer of hope. "I want to send this to a friend from long ago," she announced, her voice steady and bright. "She needs to know she is still loved." The children gazed at her with a reverence, recognizing that this was more than just an act of creativity. It was a sacred moment unfolding right there in the alleyway, a mingling of lives that transcended time. As they watched, an unspoken understanding passed among them all. They stood on the precipice of transforming not just their own lives, but the very fabric of their community. Yet, as they prepared to leave, an undercurrent of urgency pulled at Mary once more. What awaited them on this journey, particularly with the scattering of the divine? Would their hearts be prepared to face the deeper struggles that were yet to come? The air hung thick with unanswered questions, and Mary knew instinctively that they were about to enter uncharted waters of faith. What unseen depths would God reveal to them next, and how would the bonds of love continue to guide their path? As the sun set over St. Jude's Hollow, Mary and her friends gathered once more beneath the great oak tree, the entire village aglow with the shared warmth of love and purpose they had cultivated. Today had been filled with moments of pure divine connection that rattled through their hearts, creating ripples of hope among even the most weary souls. Yet, a familiar sensation tugged at Mary, a whispering urgency that hinted at what lay ahead, a challenge not merely of spirit but of the very essence of faith itself. "Today was special," Clara began, her voice shimmering with emotion. "But what happens when the joy fades? How do we keep the miracles alive?" Her question hung thick in the air, creating a reverent silence. The flickering light of the village lanterns danced, echoing the flickers of doubt that crept into their hearts. Memories of their encounters today lingered, faces filled with gratitude, yet Mary sensed an underlying tension, a fear of returning to the way things once were. Tom, always attuned to the emotions swirling around, chimed in with youthful certainty. "But we are part of the miracles. Each of us shares love, and that can't go away." His innocence cut through the heaviness, igniting sparks of inspiration among the villagers. Mary felt the electricity of his words resonate within her, propelling her to rise and declare purpose once more. "That's right, Tom. We are living testimonies of what love can do. But now, it's time to invite even more in." The villagers leaned in, hearts ready to listen. There was a power in their gathering, a divine magnetism that sparked a recognition among them. Miracles are not just received, they are made. "What if we became the fabric of miracles?" Mary suggested, her eyes shimmering with faith. "What if each of us committed to continuing to reach beyond ourselves, to invite others as we have been invited? Imagine the lives we could touch." A wave of excitement surged, and hands began to raise, voices intertwining in shared expression. Elder Samuel spoke next, his voice deep and steady. "Let us share stories of love from our own lives, the things that have sustained us. Let us bear witness to God's presence in our struggles and triumphs." The collective recognition floated through them like a gust of fresh wind, breathing life into their uncertainties. Clara, emboldened by Samuel's words, added, "We can gather weekly to share these stories, to keep the flame alive, so none of us feels alone." A chorus of amens filled the air, the sounds mingling with the rustling leaves above. They felt alive, in this moment of collective purpose, caught up in a divine dance of unity. Yet, Mary felt the weight of a lingering question, still woven in the fabric of her heart. But what if some refuse to hear, or feel unworthy of our love? What if the pain we reach out to heal scares them away? The group quieted once more, and Mary saw the flicker of doubt cross her friends' faces. It was another layer of their mission that needed addressing. "Mary," David said, his young features serious yet bright with wisdom beyond his years, "love is always a risk, but it's worth it. Remember, each whispered prayer we send also creates space for healing. Together, we break down barriers." As if summoned by consciousness, the inches of doubt between them began to evaporate. God's presence reverberated among them, uniting their efforts in ways they could scarcely comprehend. The light of hope shimmered, casting away shadows, and for every fear, a response arose. "Let us create a day of openness," Mary exclaimed with renewed energy. "Let us invite those who feel lost, who feel forgotten, to gather here. The essence of our light can illuminate the darkest corners." The villagers thrummed with excitement, each heart a drum echoing the rhythm of faith. Ideas cascaded between them like a river overflowing its banks. Plans bubbled forth, activities, storytelling, and a festive sharing that would welcome every soul. As the vision of their gathering took form, Mary's heart soared. Yet a flicker of uncertainty returned, and she asked herself, "Will our hearts endure these challenges? Will we still carry love forward, come what may?" That night, as the stars peppered the sky, she knelt down once more, her hands clasped tightly in prayer. "Lord, help us to embody the love needed to turn those lives around. Let us remember you, a love deep enough to heal every wound." With each word, a glowing warmth descended upon her, and she felt the heart of the community pulse in unison. They were not just spreading love, they were creating a river of divine encounters, hearts united in faith, navigating the complexities of life together. The next morning broke, golden and bright. Mary felt alive with anticipation as she stepped outside to greet the day. This was it, the day they would open their arms wide in a heartfelt embrace, welcoming those who came to them. With divine love as their compass, they would navigate unknown waters and witness the miracles that would unfold. As people began to gather beneath the great oak tree, Mary looked around at the faces of her community, each one an irreplaceable thread in the tighter weaving of faith. Tears of gratitude brimmed in her eyes as she embraced the overwhelming anticipation of a divine journey, ready to transform their village one heart at a time. And so, with each step forward, they fanned the flames of hope, igniting the spiritual journey anew. This was not just a story of miracles, it was a grand testament of what faith could do, what love could accomplish, and how, together, anything was possible. Would they be ready for what lay ahead? What even deeper revelations awaited them in the heart of the unfolding journey? There was no turning back now. The sun dipped low, but the light within St. Jude's Hollow shone brighter than ever, ready to embrace what came next. And now, take this moment and act. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel to catch the next exclusive faith stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and help others find the miracle within. Comment your reactions and testimonies about today's Ending Your Voice Matters. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of love. True servants of God like you understand the importance of support, so make your actions count.